She stood in my doorway, dragging her Louis Vuitton suitcase, one I bought, and calmly said, "I'm leaving you for someone better." The moment those words left her lips, my world stopped. I had been paying for her MBA, her car, her insurance, every damn thing. But I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just nodded. She had no idea what was coming next. "My name's Ethan Carter. I'm 30. I manage construction projects in Austin, Texas. I make around $95,000 a year. I've got a modest house, 3 bedrooms. In a quiet neighborhood I worked 10 brutal years to afford. No trust fund. No shortcuts. I started as a day laborer. Worked construction sites while attending community college at night. No one's golden boy. Just a man who built something from nothing. I'm not flashy. Average height, buzzed hair, steady job. I'm the kind of guy women say they want until someone flashier comes along. That's exactly how I met Madison Clark. Before I tell you how I exposed everything, and I mean everything she tried to hide, hit that like button and subscribe. Because this story, you won't want to miss how it ends. It started like most too good to be true stories do. At a barbecue, my buddy Ryan introduced us. Madison was 24, working retail at a boutique in Domain Mall. Gorgeous, blonde, green eyes. The kind of woman who made entire rooms stop talking when she walked in. And me, I was just a guy with sunburnt arms, dusty work boots, and calloused hands from 20 years of hard labor. But she smiled at me like I mattered. Madison made maybe $25,000 a year. Shared an apartment with 3 roommates in a sketchy part of East Austin. Her car was a 2008 Toyota Corolla that broke down more than it ran. But she dressed like she walked straight out of a lifestyle magazine. I should have seen the red flags then, but I didn't. Because she laughed at my jokes. She leaned into me when she talked. And when she started staying over more, it felt like maybe I was finally winning at life. Within 6 months, my place became her place. Her makeup took over my bathroom. Her clothes filled up my closet. I was buying groceries for 2, covering all the utilities, and driving her to work whenever her car broke down, which was often, but I was okay with it. At the time, it felt like love. Madison always knew how to make me feel wanted. She'd greet me at the door in tight shorts and tank tops. She'd cook dinner using groceries I bought. She made it feel like a home. And yeah, I was hooked. Then came the MBA talk. She'd sigh dramatically while filing her nails with some $30 designer tool. "Ethan, I'm never going to make real money working retail. I need to elevate myself." She'd found a program at Southwest State University here in Austin. MBA in marketing. Tuition, $42,000. I asked if she qualified for aid. She said her parents made too much for help, but weren't giving her a dime. I offered to cover it. She cried and jumped into my arms. That night, we had some of the most passionate sex of our relationship. Looking back, that was the exact moment I stopped being her boyfriend and started being her bank account. She told me it was our future I was investing in, that we'd become this unstoppable power couple. But in reality, I was investing in a fantasy I didn't realize wasn't mine. You won't believe how fast that fantasy turned into a nightmare. At first, helping Madison felt good, noble, even. I thought I was building something real. She'd light up talking about branding strategies, consumer psychology, and business development. She'd leave her laptop open with color-coded notes and highlighted textbooks like she was the next marketing genius in the making. I wanted to believe in her. I really did. She said this MBA would change her life, and by extension, ours. I didn't just pay for her tuition. I co-signed a lease for a brand new 2021 Ford Escape because she said her Corolla didn't match the professional image she needed for school. I covered the insurance, gas, maintenance. Then came the laptop top-of-the-line MacBook Pro. Nearly $2,000. She needed it for class presentations. Fine. Next, clothes. I can't show up to presentations looking like I work retail. She said. That turned into a $3,000 spree at Nordstrom and Banana Republic. And just like that, my quiet, steady life turned into a shared fantasy I didn't realize was mostly mine. She cut back her hours at the boutique, citing study demands. Overnight, her income basically disappeared. Rent, utilities, groceries, all mine. Add in her car payment, tuition installments, beauty routine, and other daily costs. And I was suddenly burning through over $16,000 a month. I was still saving, but just barely. My emergency fund stopped growing. The cushion I'd built from a decade of backbreaking work was thinning out fast, but she kept saying it was temporary. Once I graduate, I'll land a six-figure job. We'll be a team. You're investing in our future. Ethan. And I believed her. Because I wanted to. But the small shifts started creeping in. She complained when I bought store-brand groceries instead of organic produce. She started eating out more, saying she was too stressed from school to cook. Her self-care expenses ballooned: lashes every month, manicures every 2 weeks, facials, hair appointments, pricey skin care. She called it networking polish. She wasn't wrong that appearances matter in business. But it wasn't just business. It was lifestyle inflation on steroids. Then she redecorated my living room without asking. I came home to $4,000 worth of beige Pinterest-inspired furniture and abstract art. When I asked about it, she said I was being controlling. The house needs a woman's touch. She told me. It was no longer my space. It was our space, by which I mean hers. And still, I stayed. Maybe because I was scared of being alone. Maybe because I didn't want to admit I'd made a mistake. Or maybe because she knew exactly how to keep me off balance, just enough attention, just enough affection to keep the hope alive. But the affection started to fade, too. By month 8 of her MBA, she stopped initiating anything. Date nights became study nights. I'd sit on the couch watching Netflix alone while she typed away upstairs. She'd climb into bed long after I fell asleep and be gone before I woke up. When I tried to talk about it, she blamed school stress. It's only temporary. She'd repeat. That's when she started talking about this guy from her marketing class. His name was Chase. At first, it was casual. Chase thinks we should approach the group project differently, or Chase knows someone at a consulting firm. But the mentions grew more frequent, more glowing. Chase drove a BMW. Chase owned a digital consultancy. Chase had clients like Pepsi and Nike. Chase was taking the MBA not to get a job, but to expand his empire. Madison's eyes would sparkle when she talked about him. She said he had vision, that he understood her ambition. She started dressing up more for class. Tight blazers, heels, bright lipstick. Not exactly lecture casual. She stayed out late after study groups. Came home buzzing from networking events Chase invited her to. Always last-minute invites, always exclusive, never wanted me to come. It's just awkward to bring a boyfriend, she said one night, slipping on perfume at 9 p.m. These are student only. Funny how her MBA program was suddenly full of clubs that met after dark in upscale bars. I started to feel like a supporting character in my own home. She'd kiss me goodbye. Spend all day with Chase, come home raving about his latest idea, then brush off any intimacy because she was tired from networking. But I still told myself I was being paranoid, insecure, that I was just the boring construction guy who didn't understand how high-level business worked. I ignored the knot in my stomach every time she said his name, until the day she came home early, with that rehearsed look on her face. "Ethan, we need to talk." She stood there in the entryway of my house, our house, though it was never really hers, with a tight jaw, both hands gripping the strap of that designer bag I bought her for Christmas. Her eyes didn't flinch. Her tone didn't waver. "I'm in love with Chase," she said. "I've been seeing him for 4 months. I'm moving in with him this weekend." 4 months. The words hit like cold water down my spine. 4 months of study groups, late-night networking, and makeup that wasn't for me. 4 months of lies. Right to my face. While I was footing every bill, she was spending her days with another man and planning her exit behind my back. But I didn't scream. Didn't throw anything. I just nodded and said, "I see." She looked almost disappointed that I didn't lose it. She gestured toward 2 matching Louis Vuitton suitcases by the door. I already packed most of my things. Of course she did. "Chase is taking me to Aspen this weekend," she added, like it would sting. "He wants me to meet some of his business partners. He believes I have real potential." It was surreal, watching someone declare you unworthy while literally wearing the clothes you paid for. Standing in a house you bought, living a life you built. I kept my voice calm. "When did it start for real?" She hesitated. "Right after Thanksgiving." So all those post-holiday meetups, all those mysterious invites, it had started when she told me she needed more time to study. "Ethan," she said, "I didn't plan for this. Chase and we connect. He understands where I'm going." I nodded again. "You're leaving stability for a fantasy." "Got it." She blinked. "That's it. You're not even going to fight for us. What's there to fight for? You already made your choice." She looked uneasy now, like she expected me to break down, to beg, to curse her out, maybe so she could feel justified in leaving. But I wasn't giving her that. Not then. Not ever. "Chase will be here around 6 to help me move the rest of my stuff," she said. "I hope that's okay." I gave her a tight smile. "More than okay. I'll be out of your way." She left to grab lunch, probably with him. I watched her car pull out of the driveway, and for a minute, I just stood there, quiet, alone. But then I sat down, opened my laptop, and began a new kind of plan, not emotional, not dramatic, strategic. I made a list of everything I was paying for. Her MBA, $42,000 total. I'd paid $28,000 so far. Her car lease, $40 month. Insurance, $180 month. Phone, $85 month. Health coverage, $240 month via my employer. Household expenses, $800 month. Her credit card, $1 $200 month. Dining, beauty, networking, $1,000 month. That was nearly $4,000 a month for someone who'd been cheating on me for a third of our relationship. I wasn't just hurt, I was humiliated. But I'm a project manager by trade. When something breaks, I don't scream at it. I fix it, or I tear it down and rebuild it better. So, I got to work. First, I called Southwest State University's financial office. Told them I was the third-party guarantor on Madison Clark's tuition plan, that we were no longer together, and I was canceling any future commitments. I'd pay through the current semester, which had 6 weeks left, but nothing more. They confirmed I had every legal right to pull out. Then I removed her from all my credit cards. American Express, Chase, gone, canceled. I notified the banks, changed every password. She knew Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Spotify, even the Wi-Fi. I called my auto insurer and removed her from the policy. I called the phone company and ended her line. No more free calls on my dime. No more gas and maintenance for the Escape she drove like it was hers. By 4:30 that afternoon, I had one final call made the locksmith. He changed every lock in the house. Front door, back door, garage. Peace of mind, $240. Worth it, every damn penny. At 5:45 they pulled up. It was hilarious. Chase wasn't in a BMW M Series like she'd bragged about. It was a dented 2018 BMW 3 Series with mismatched rims and a cracked taillight. He looked exactly like I imagined man bun. Skinny suit too expensive for his bank account. Smug face that said he watched too many TED Talks. They got out. Madison tried her key. It didn't work. She knocked. I came downstairs slowly, opened the door. "Hey, Ethan," she said awkwardly. "This is Chase." He offered his hand. "Nice to meet you, man. Madison's told me a lot about you." I shook it, gave him a nod. "I bet she has." She stepped forward. "Why doesn't my key work?" "I changed the locks," I said flatly. "You don't live here anymore." She blinked. "I just need to grab a few things from upstairs." "What things?" "My clothes, my makeup, some jewelry." I pointed to a cardboard box by the door. "Makeup's there. Clothes are gone." "Gone? What do you mean, gone?" "Donated. Goodwill on 5th Street. Feel free to dig through the racks." Her face went pale. She scrambled to explain. "My Cartier bracelet? The Tiffany necklace you got me." "Oh, those I returned them." Good customer history and a solid receipt can do wonders. Chase shifted his weight. "Maybe we should just go." "No," she snapped. "This is insane. Ethan, you can't take back gifts." "Watch me," I said. "Also, check your credit cards. And your phone. You're financially independent now. Congratulations." She turned to Chase. "This is crazy, right? He can't just cut me off like this." Chase avoided eye contact. "Let's just go, Madison." And they did, but that wasn't the end. Not even close. That night, after they drove off, I sat on the back porch with a slice of delivery pizza and a beer. The silence in the house was peaceful. For the first time in months, I wasn't stepping around someone else's mess. I wasn't cooking for two, paying for someone's skincare routine, or pretending I didn't notice the scent of another man's cologne on my girlfriend's blazer. I'd cut her off, locked her out, closed every financial door she thought would stay open. But I had a gut feeling. She wasn't done, and I was right. The next morning, my phone buzzed at 7:30 a.m. "Madison. Ethan. My card got declined at Starbucks." I sipped my coffee. "Yeah. You're not an authorized user anymore." "You can't do that." "I already did." Click. That day, she called 10 times. I didn't answer. By noon, her phone was shut off. She must have assumed the bill would just magically renew. She called from random numbers, even had the nerve to ring my office. By Friday afternoon, she was back in my driveway. I looked through the blinds. Chase's car idled at the curb, but he didn't get out. Madison knocked, hard, again and again. I opened the door slowly. She looked desperate. Real desperate. Hair pulled back in a rush, mascara smudged, eyes red like she'd been crying for hours. "We need to talk." I crossed my arms. "We are." I got an email from Southwest State. They said the summer tuition hasn't been paid. That's correct. You can't just withdraw like that. I'm halfway through the program. Actually, I can, and I did. I paid for spring. Summer's on you. This is insane. You're destroying my future over a breakup. No. Madison, you destroyed your future when you cheated. I just stopped funding it. She tried to pivot. Chase and I will figure it out. But I need my credit cards back. I have bills. I raised an eyebrow. What bills? You know, personal stuff. Nails, hair, my skincare. I can't just stop taking care of myself. I stared at her like she was speaking another language. You were living rent-free, driving a leased car in my name, using my health insurance, watching my Netflix, and now you're mad because you can't get lash extensions. She blinked. Tears started falling, and this time, they felt real. Ethan, I made a mistake. A huge mistake. Chase he's not who he said he was. I said nothing. He told me he ran a consulting firm, that he had real clients, but he doesn't. He rents a studio apartment in East Austin with a roommate who walks around in boxers all day playing video games. I could barely contain my laugh. And his BMW? It's his mom's. Registered under her name. He's broke. He lied. About everything. Now we were getting somewhere. "I've been sleeping in my car," she whispered. The roommate said I couldn't stay anymore. I almost felt bad. Almost. But then I remembered the 4 months of deception. Of waking up early, working 50 hours a week to support a woman who was planning her exit behind my back. "You made your bed, Madison." She wiped her eyes. "Please. I'll pay rent. I'll cook. I'll clean. I'll give you half my paycheck." "You don't have a paycheck." "I'll get one. I'll work anywhere. That's Chase's job now." "You don't understand," she pleaded. "He wants me to help pay his back child support." I paused. Back what? He has a kid in Milwaukee, 3 years old. He owes 12 grand and asked me to help him pay it off. Said we were a team. The irony was almost poetic. She'd traded stability for fantasy. Now the fantasy wanted her to co-sign on broken promises. I leaned against the doorframe. Tough week. I'm begging. "Ethan, please. I can sleep on the couch. I'll do anything." I nodded slowly. "Okay. Here's the deal. You want my help?" She perked up. "You're going to post on every social media account you have, Facebook, Instagram, telling the whole truth. That you cheated. That you used me. That I did nothing wrong. That Chase is a fraud with a kid he doesn't support." Her mouth fell open. "Ethan, that's humiliating. Not as humiliating as sleeping in your car, is it?" She looked stunned. "If you post it, I'll consider helping you." "You promise?" "I promise I'll consider it." And to my shock, she actually did it. Within 2 hours, Madison had posted the most awkward, cringe-filled public confession I'd ever read. Word for word, I need to publicly apologize for my terrible behavior and set the record straight about Ethan Carter. It went on for 6 paragraphs. She admitted to cheating, to using me, to lying. She confessed Chase was a fraud with a secret kid and mountains of debt. She even called me generous, the kind of man she never deserved. And the comments. Absolutely brutal. Madison's post was live for less than 3 minutes before the first comment hit. It was her former co-worker from the boutique. We all knew you were using Ethan. Glad he finally wised up. Then came the rest. Girl, you fumbled the bag hard. A man paid your tuition, gave you a car, and you cheated. You deserve to be in that Civic. This is what happens when you're a gold digger and bad at picking gold. One by one, her friends, our mutual contacts, even people I didn't recognize began roasting her publicly. Someone I hadn't spoken to in months wrote Ethan, "If you're reading this, you dodged a missile." Madison tried to reply, tried to soften it. Everyone makes mistakes. She commented under one thread, but the crowd wasn't buying it. 4 months isn't a mistake. It's a lifestyle. The only mistake you made was thinking Ethan wouldn't find out. I sat back and watched it all unfold. No edits, no deletions. Just raw, unfiltered karma. She left the post up for 2 days before finally deleting it. But the damage was done. Her perfect image shattered. Her little GoFundMe even worse. Yeah, she had one. It was titled, "Help Me Finish My MBA." In it, she claimed she was a victim of emotional abuse, that her wealthy ex-boyfriend had cruelly cut off her tuition to punish her for leaving. She described me as controlling, vindictive, and manipulative. And for a hot second, it worked. She raised $430 in small donations. But the internet is never short on receipts. Our mutual friends found the campaign and started sharing the truth in the comments. She cheated on him for months while he paid for everything. Madison isn't a victim. She's a user. I know Ethan. He's one of the most generous guys I've ever met. This girl burned down her own life and wants strangers to clean up the ashes. The backlash was brutal. She shut the fundraiser down within a week. That $430 wouldn't even cover 1 credit hour at Southwest State. But while she was busy begging the internet, I was working on something better. Remember, I manage large-scale construction projects. That means I have access to certain databases tools we use to vet subcontractors and vendors. It's all legal, just part of due diligence. Background checks, credit evaluations, licensing status. And I was curious, who exactly was Chase Donovan? So I ran a check. What I found nearly made me choke on my coffee. First, the basics. Fired from his last real job at a marketing agency for falsifying reports. $31,000 in credit card debt across 7 cards. $18,000 in defaulted student loans. A $4,200 judgment from a former landlord. An active warrant in Wisconsin for unpaid child support, $12,800 owed. His daughter was 3. But it got better. His consulting firm, just an LLC registered to a P.O. box. No tax filings. No income reported. No website. No business license. It existed purely on paper. The BMW registered to his mom. The startup he worked for. A sketchy multi-level marketing scheme selling off-brand supplements. Chase wasn't building a business empire. He was cold-calling yoga instructors to join his wellness downline. So I gathered everything. Court docs, employment records, photos, screenshots of his warrant, even pictures of his baby girl from her mom's Facebook page. Then I created an anonymous Gmail account. The subject line, "Thought you should know who you're really living with." I attached everything. Just one sentence in the email body. "Run while you still can." And I sent it. Not to Chase. To Madison. Friday morning, 6 a.m. My phone rang. I didn't even need to check the caller ID. Ethan, please, I messed up so bad." Her voice was cracked, hysterical. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. "He has a child. Ethan, a real child. He lied about everything. He's thousands in debt. He asked me to help him pay his child support, said we were a team, and I needed to invest in our future. She sounded like she was falling apart. I stayed quiet for a beat, then said, "That sounds like a Chase problem. You don't understand, he kicked me out. I'm back in my Civic. I'm sleeping in parking lots. I have nothing, no money, no friends left. Everyone's turned against me." I almost felt something. Pity. Maybe. But then I remembered the look on her face when she told me she was leaving me for someone better. "Ethan, please, I'll do anything. I'll pay you back. I'll sign a contract. I'll cook. I'll clean. I'll give you half my paycheck. She hesitated. Then her voice dropped to a whisper. "I'll do anything you want. Anything. Just don't leave me out here." There it was, the final offer. Sex, service, obedience, in exchange for shelter. And honestly, that's when I knew I'd already won. The line went silent for a moment after Madison made her final offer. "I'll do anything," she said again. "Just let me back in. I don't even care what I have to do." That's when I knew she wasn't sorry for cheating. She was sorry she lost the lifestyle. Sleeping in a Civic behind a 7-Eleven wasn't the life she'd imagined when she told me she'd found someone better. Now the fantasy was gone. The safety net was gone. And all that was left was a woman trying to bargain her way back into the life she burned down. I took a breath and said, calmly, "Madison, I wouldn't take you back if you were the last woman on earth." She started crying again. Deep sobs this time. Real. Raw. No performance left. "You've shown me exactly who you are," I said. "And I believe you. I was stupid. I know that now." She choked out. I threw away the best relationship I ever had for a guy who lied about everything. But I've changed. I've learned my lesson. I stayed quiet, letting her talk. She needed to say it more than I needed to hear it. "You have every right to hate me," she continued. "But I'm asking for help. Just a chance. I'll do anything to earn it." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult her. I didn't even get angry. I just told the truth. "No, Madison, you're not asking for a second chance. You're asking for a second wallet." Her breath caught. And let's be honest, if Chase had turned out to be everything he claimed, you'd still be with him. You'd never have posted that confession. You'd never have called me. She didn't deny it. So I kept going. "If I gave you a time machine right now and sent you back to Thanksgiving, would you choose not to cheat or just pick someone smarter to cheat with?" The pause on the other end of the line said everything. "You're not sorry you lied." I said, "You're just sorry your lies didn't work out." Her voice broke into a whisper. "That's not fair." "It's completely fair." And it was, because apologies made under pressure aren't redemption. They're negotiation. And Madison, she was negotiating like her life depended on it. "You're not the victim here," I said. "You're just experiencing the consequences of your own decisions. You left. You lied. You used me. And now, when it's all come crashing down, you want the same man you betrayed to rescue you." She was quiet. And for a second, I thought she hung up. But then I heard her inhale. "Fine. Fine," she snapped. "Then screw you, Ethan. You think you're better than me." "No," I said. "I just think I finally see you clearly. When I get back on my feet, She spat. "You'll regret this. You'll see what you lost." "I'm sure I will," I said flatly. "Good luck, Madison." And then I hung up. And this time, I blocked her for good. No more calls, no more tears, no more bargaining. She was out of my life, and it finally felt permanent. But that wasn't the end of it. Over the next few days, her mom, her sister, her aunt all started calling me. The Clark family was in full spin mode. Her mother tried guilt. "She made a mistake. Ethan, she's our baby girl. She's scared and alone." "She's 24, I replied. "Not a baby." And scared is what happens when you make reckless choices with no backup plan. Her sister tried sympathy. "She really did love you." Chase manipulated her. You have no idea how persuasive he was. Madison manipulated me for over a year. I said. She knew exactly what she was doing. Then her dad called. That was my favorite. "You need to man up and do right by her. She's your woman." "No, sir," I said. "She was your daughter first. Maybe if you taught her about integrity, we wouldn't be having this conversation." He cursed me out and hung up. Meanwhile, Madison took one last swing on social media. A long, bitter post accusing me of financial abuse, painting herself as a broken woman destroyed by a controlling ex. It got a few likes until people who knew the real story showed up in the comments again. "Didn't you admit to cheating for 4 months? Pretty sure he paid your tuition while you were sleeping with someone else." Girl, stop. We've seen the receipts. She deleted it within the hour. After that, silence. Real silence. No calls, no messages, no more drama. And for the first time in 2 years, I could breathe again. It's been months since that final call. Since I blocked her, ignored her family, and shut the last door she thought would stay open forever. And I haven't looked back once. Funny how peace feels louder when you've lived with chaos for so long. I wake up in the mornings now, and my house feels like mine again. Clean counters, empty driveway, no perfume clouding the bathroom, no tension hanging in the air like smoke, just silence. The good kind. People ask if I ever regret cutting her off. Walking away from someone I once called my future? And the answer is no. Not even for a second. Because what I learned the hard way is that generosity without boundaries invites exploitation. That love isn't just about giving, it's about reciprocity, respect, trust. And once those things are gone, the relationship isn't a partnership anymore. It's a transaction. Madison didn't fall in love with me. She fell in love with the version of herself she could build on my dime. The car, the degree, the image. And when someone shinier came along, she was ready to upgrade until the shine wore off. I wasn't angry when I made that list of what I'd paid for. I wasn't even bitter when I pulled her tuition. I was just done. Done waiting to be seen. Done hoping loyalty would be repaid in kind. And here's the thing. No revenge was ever sweeter than simply watching her world collapse under its own lies. I didn't have to lift a finger. All I had to do was stop carrying her. That's the part she never understood. Without my support, she had nothing. She didn't want me. She wanted stability disguised as love. But when real love left the room, and all that was left was consequence, she finally realized what she'd thrown away. Do I wish her the worst? No. I hope she figures herself out. I hope she takes accountability, finds her own way, and stops looking at people like they're ladders to climb. But she won't be doing it on my back, because I'm building again. Slowly, quietly. This time, for me, and the next woman who walks into my life. She won't be impressed by my house or my job or my wallet. She'll be impressed by how I got through all of this without losing my soul. So if you're watching this and you've ever been in my shoes, taken for granted, used, lied to hear this, you're not crazy. You're not weak. And walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself. And that's not selfish. That's survival. If this story hit close to home, drop a comment. Have you ever had to walk away from someone who took you for granted? How did you reclaim your peace? Like, subscribe, and share this if you know someone who needs to hear it. And remember, being kind doesn't mean being blind. Thanks for listening. Ethan out.